for her, and I walked in and handed her the mail, and she was like, "Thanks, Daryl." And that's how I'm just brought her in like that.
Oh, she called you Daryl.
Yeah, and then I'm like, there's a character here.
Welcome to the Costello Coaching Podcast, where we talk about developing the human within the athlete. My vision is to enhance people's performance in all aspects of their lives. I hope you enjoy.
Gatlin, let's start Granny.
Granny. All right, what do you got for me with Granny?
Okay, what is Granny like when Gatlin Didier is 12 to 14 years old?
12 to 14. She is not the Granny that everyone sees on social media. She was a really kind of I'd say she was a very strict, stern grandma, but very loving, but in her own kind of that old rancher way. Mm-hmm. I could never have sugar in my tea, no sugar in my Rice Krispie cereal.
But now she's a free-for-all.
I know. Her great grandkids walk in, it's like ice cream, Coke floats, whatever, have fun, and it's like that's not the grandma I had.
Is she still drinking? How many cups of coffee a day?
The other day I asked her, every time I ask her, it's different, but this time she said 8 to 12 cups.
8 to 12 cups?
But you've seen her coffee. It's very watered down, and it's in these little 6 ounce,
Okay, but still, it's let's call it 10?
Yeah. It's about 10 cups. And then she's doing the longevity coffee now. So it actually has a lot of caffeine in there. And people are like, where does she get all her energy? I'm like, because the woman drinks 8 to 12 cups of coffee a day.
I mean, we got to get some Andrew Huberman going on the effects of caffeine and extending your lifespan and your energy. Maybe she's onto something.
I think she is, because she also told me she read in a magazine one time. And this was Reader's Digest 1996. She goes, they said coffee consumption can count as your water consumption. So she counts her coffee.
In what magazine?
Reader's Digest.
Very credible source. A journal of medical science.
Yeah. And then she goes, later on, they came back and redacted that statement, but she still
abides by it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Granny Bibbins, can we give her real name away?
Yeah. K. Didier's her real, Arletta K. Didier's her real name, but Grandma K.
Grandma K.
Us, yeah.
Grandma K.
Yeah.
So when she came to the baptism, she was the star of the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And she loves it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, getting away from, the details of Grandma, let's get a little bit more serious with it. What did you see? Well, first, did you ever envision her blowing up as much as she did?
No, dude. It was very organic how he brought her in. Was just she was over there, and I had this Daryl Farm Boy character, and then it was. I remember bringing her in as Granny. I had brought her in on actually a TikTok back in November. There was a song out by this country singer named Trey Lewis called "Dick Down in Dallas." Mm-hmm. And it's yeah. And so I made a TikTok with her, just showing her this song, and she's like, "Ooh, it's got a good beat."
She liked it.
Yeah, this is her showing her natural this is kind of the Granny I saw when I saw this, and she's like, "Oh, that's a good song. I like it." I go, "Do you know what it said?" She goes, "No, I have no worldly idea." I said, "He's saying getting dick down in Dallas." And she goes, "Oh, dick down in Dallas." And then she looks at me like this. And I go, "You know what that means, right?" And she goes, "Oh." And that was the video. And in my head, I go,
morals over hussies.
Well, I didn't envision that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there's something here. There's kind of this energy about her that I didn't really know as a kid that I'm seeing now. I'm like, maybe something in the future we could do. And then when I was doing Daryl, and one day it was snowing outside, and she's asked me legitimately to go get her mail because it was snowing and I had my clothes on. And so I went out to do it, and I'm like, oh, so I made a quick TikTok Granny wants me to go get her mail. So you do this. When Granny asks to get a mail, you get it for her. And I walked in and handed her the mail, and she was like, "Thanks, Daryl." And that's how I'm just brought her in like that.
Oh, she called you Daryl.
Yeah. And then I'm like, there's a character here.
Wow.
And so then it just turned into showing her hussy videos. And then
can I tell you my first thought of Daryl Bibbins?
Go ahead.
So we're sitting as a family watching on the TV on YouTube, watching you. And we were so confused on what you're creating. We're like, this is terrible. What is this? And my sister, who's married to Gatlin, was very confused as well. We were all confused. We didn't understand the creativity, the creative genius inside what it was. And it shows you how much we know, by the way, but it's been your biggest launching pad. I don't want to say your biggest success because we're going to dive into those things, but it's been one of your biggest impacts you've made through this character. It's genius. I think you're a model that people are following, people are going to follow. It's one thing to be an influencer. It's another thing to be a creator. And you have married the two. You stand by the shirt you're wearing, God, family, country, and your character lives by all those components. He lives by those fundamental beliefs of putting God first, your family, and your country at the most important level of your life. And so it's been so unique and incredible to watch, because I've gotten a front row seat to see all the growth that you've had. And what it reminds me is it's no different than an athlete, where habits and routines will be a precursor to tell you what success is coming. And you have always been committed to learning. You're an incredible student. And that is one of your biggest skills, I believe, is you're an incredible, incredible learner. You could ask Gatlin anything about history, and he's going to give you a fun fact about history. He's going to give you weird facts, weird reports, understand too many people's biographies, but stats, sports stats. He's literally a library in his brain with all these interesting things. But your ability to learn and understand what's going on in your own life has been your biggest leap to success. I think that is your launching pad, utilizing Daryl Bibbins, utilizing Granny's unique and authentic personality, bringing in your cousin, who is the funniest person when you hang out with him. You hang out with him and you're like, Jarrett, you are the funniest freaking dude. And you
tell him that.
you saw a way to utilize his humor and his uniqueness and build a brand around it. Mm-hmm. So on the surface level, most people see the humor that you've built and the characters that you've built. But below that, behind the curtains, is where we spend a majority of our conversation. So I'm excited to highlight that today with you.
Well, man, I feel like we should just end the podcast now, because that was like the best. Man, that made me cry, because like you have been there from the time I started doing all this stuff to now, and you've seen it. It's like sometimes a lot of these people don't see like what's gone into it all. So I appreciate your awareness to it, and it means a lot though that people see it.
I think
people I care about see it.
I think we're so used to, and this is something that I'm overcoming personally, we're so used to linear outcomes. So a linear outcome would be, I put in this amount of work and I get this amount of return. And the hardest part, I believe, about the creative side is they're non-linear outcomes.
Yeah.
But they can come in abundance. So you go through all the same processes. And for anyone out there, there's probably no one in the influencer social media game that has as many views as you do and doesn't have a filmer, an editor, a producer. You literally do everything. When Daryl, Granny, and Gatlin, Granny, and Jarrett roll up to a place, you would think that they have some sort of crew with them getting all this content done. It's Gatlin holding the camera, which is unbelievable that he's been able to do it this way. But my point is, the process that you have is so committed, and you don't have a linear outcome because you put the same amount of effort behind every single video. Some do 50,000, some do 50 million, and you don't know really what's going to hit, but you have to continue to put in the work. So what is your process there, and how do you stay so committed to non-linear outcomes?
Man, really, I feel like, to me, I think when I knew I decided I wanted to go into like entertainment and that industry, I learned from just observing other people. Again, learning, like you mentioned, that there's paydays and there's no paydays, and there's a lot of more no paydays than there's paydays, which is like your linear outcomes. And for me, I just learned like, well, the more I'm creative, the more I can, that creativity is going to one day produce a result, and that be the outcome. But for me now, it's just like, the more, it's kind of hard to like conceptualize truly, like when you're in this space that we are now, the content creation, influencer, social media space. Like, if we don't put out a video, to me, like, we didn't do our job. We didn't do, people's expecting, they're expecting an episode from us for the day. Cause I see this all as like, it's a TV show, because that's where my brain is. That's where my training is. That's how my storytelling capability is. But to really, the real result is like, how can you make money at something? That's a true business. And once you are able to like, collect $1, you realize like, oh, there is a linear outcome to what I'm doing here. And what I've been able to realize, we built this world, and I learned in the world there's so much opportunity for product placement. There's so much opportunity for merchandising your own stuff. And there's so much opportunity to really show people brands, products that can help their lives too within what we do, whether it's equipment to soda, like Granny drinks, the Jing soda. And that all has linear outcomes, but it's really hard to see for the people who are watching it. But for us, like getting back to your question, like how hard is it to keep the process going, doing all this stuff? For me, I'm getting to do what I love to do every day. I decide if I want to make $1 today. So I'm my own business.
Yeah, but you didn't start that way.
No, but to me, I'm getting to be creative. So that's a part of me. Like I got to get that out. And if I don't get it out, I go crazy.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the show. Only way this podcast grows is if it's shared. So please share it with your friends, family, or anyone you feel like it can help enhance their performance in their life. A little karma goes a long way. Let's get back to the show.
So like making a video, whether it's with Gate Barton, it's a quick little lip sync video, or Granny telling a farm fact, or me, like us, like we made the one about TikTok getting bananaed, like that was, they're all different in their own like story they're telling. And they're all like, one's an original concept. One's like literally someone else made this. We're just lip syncing it. And one is Granny literally just stating a fact about a product in history. Like no matter what it is, it's that creativity is getting out. So something I'm trying to say is getting out of me. And then that's always kind of what's really driven me is like, I'm getting something out of myself that maybe it's subliminal, maybe it's in my subconscious. But we're also entertaining people. And when the likes don't really matter to me, but they do matter because it's like, did we do our job of like the message I was trying to get out? Did people understand it? And so I think that's my ultimate, like what I'm doing.
So you're trying to entertain?
Truly trying to entertain people, but it's to get people to understand. It's like somebody who writes a song, like what are they trying to say? Are people really hearing the message you're trying to say? I think really at the end of the day, it's like, are people understanding like, yeah, we're on a little farm world, but we're talking about something, a little bit bigger than what's happening on the farm, but we try to bring it down to like, it's very relatable to if you're in California or New York.
So I think with any good coach, you will not have to be serious all the time. Yeah. So a good coach can relate to people, and relatability does not have to be funny and jokey all the time. It doesn't have to be serious all the time. It's a mixture of human experience. So our human emotions are all over the place. If everyone was just happy all the time, then there would be no scale of sad. Yeah. And we need sad times to make us happy and happy times to make us sad and everything in between. So what I hear you explaining is this: you are very relatable. Now, the content, it can make people laugh, whether they've never experienced a farm before, or they've never experienced beef in the way you've grew up around beef, or they never experienced living in Oklahoma. It's very relatable. So I will have some of my guys will check out your content and not realize when we did post together, they were like, how do you know this guy? How do you know this guy? I go, this is my brother-in-law. They'll start watching your stuff and think it's funny because of either their experiences with their cousin, Kate Bart, their experiences with their grandma, and there's a relatability. Now, where I'm driving this and what's going to hammer home this point is what you do and what coaches have to do is they have to relate to their people. They have to relate to their audience to really drive home and hammer home their message. Mm-hmm. Now, you are consistent on something that gets you the least amount of views. I know exactly what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now, that proves to me that you're more about a point than everything being about your likes and your comments and your engagement. It's more so about what kind of message am I providing to my audience, and tell my listeners a little bit more about what you do every single week on Sunday.
Yeah. So every Sunday we do Sunday night Bible study, which was initially just Jarrett was doing these on his own. And I saw where his heart was coming out of it, like the intentionality behind it. And it was literally him just reading a verse and kind of breaking it down in the short time frame of 60 seconds that you're given on TikTok, any of these apps. And so when I saw him doing it, it was all on his cell phone, like very low quality. And me, like I'm a stickler for our stuff looking good. And I'm like, hey, if you're gonna do these things, let's make it look better. Let's get that messaging down better. So the people who are listening and watching your stuff are really understanding what you're trying to say. because I knew where his intentionality was behind it. So I was like, everything, what's what I love about Jared is like, he wasn't coached, he wasn't trained in the entertainment world and like scripting and all this stuff.
That's one of the best parts about him.
And that's truly is what probably holds a lot of people back being creative, is that they're so well coached or so educated that they almost will just like
constrict themselves. And he has no constriction, which helps me a lot. But I was like, hey, we can do this better. And then I also saw like an opportunity. It's like, okay, this is a way to get our God message across to people, whether it's getting 1 million views or whether it's going to get 1,000 views on whatever platform it's on. So how it all has gotten to now is like, we sit down, we talk about, we go through like verses that we've read this week, because we're both very strong in our faith. And we like, how does this help? How can this be relatable to people? Maybe it's relatable to what's going on in the world right now. And then being consistent with it is just like, hey, if you really believe in what you're preaching, which we don't preach, that's what I like about it, is like, we're just reading a verse and kind of like, this is how we interpreted it. May not always be accurate or right, but we do our best of understanding it. And it opens a sense of dialogue to the audience, which is a lot of our followers. And they express their appreciation for people who, also say they believe, but most of the people who say this on social media don't practice what they preach. Or don't showcase it.
Or showcase it because they're too afraid. And like, I've appreciated that like Jared started doing that, because it allowed me to like, hey, that's what I believe too. And who cares what other people think? Who cares?
That's his motto in life.
Yeah, exactly. And that helps me also honestly be better at being creative, being a better leader amongst the farm crew, a better business person on our end, is like, we're just showing people who we really are. And that's the one time when we pull back our costumes and our hats and show like, here's Gatlin, here's Jarrett, and here's the verse we think y'all should hear this week.
Yeah. This is a concept I've been really fascinated with, and I really haven't heard it from anywhere, but I adopted this thought belief when helping my athletes, but it totally aligns with what you're talking about. And the two components are aligning. How do we align, or how do we disassociate our marketplace value and our inner value? Now, let me define what those things are to me. Marketplace value is the value you bring to the market. So for those who don't understand, think business, stock market. That's what I'm saying. Bringing value to a marketplace. As a baseball player, if I throw 100 miles an hour, I all of a sudden bring a ton of value to that marketplace, because it is very rare for people to throw 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Now, inner value. That is for you. What kind of husband am I? What kind of father am I? What kind of brother am I? What kind of son am I? What kind of man of God am I? Those are all your inner values. Now, something that really stumps people, I believe, because it stumped me and it's made me think really hard, is how do my inner values align with my marketplace values, and how are they different? Well, if my inner values are out of line, I could still have a ton of value in the marketplace. You could be a pretty messed up human being, but be really valuable in a marketplace. And then on the flip side, but not have great inner value. So what kind of life is that to be lived? Merging the two of your marketplace value and your inner value has been the biggest challenge for me, because it's clearly established to me growing up in a household with an excellent business owner that he had my dad has excellent inner value, has excellent marketplace value, but the two are kind of different. Mm-hmm. Now, he was still doing a good service for people, but the two weren't aligned as much as I want them to be for my life. And the challenge becomes now, how do I create more marketplace value that enhances my inner value? So what I value in myself are respect, honesty, work ethic. And that's what I'm instilling in the athletes that I work with and the humans that I work with. But not all the time is that rewarded in the marketplace. And you continue to challenge yourself to align your inner values within your marketplace. Do you ever think about this?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah, it's so hard though, because you, like, especially in like the so-called public figure imagery, like if people really know what you think, or really, or would they not like you? People do worry about that. And you have to worry about that as a business. You do really look what happens going on in, America right now with people aligning themselves with the wrong, even creators. It can devalue your brand by $5 billion. So like, I think about that a lot, because like in the social media space, you can't get if you get too leaning one way with like your messaging being, if it's political or if it's, And that's where it's like, for us, like we do the faith thing so people know where we stand there. But if we like bring up too much of our politics or anything, you may also diminish your market value at the same time too. And even though we believe our inner value of what that is like not necessarily right, but is like, it's part of our core values of who we are. We do have to kind of like weigh is like, what's more important here though? Like just being the good, wholesome people we are and bring the messaging subliminally through that? Or do we really want to tell people like, no, like don't, we're not telling people how to like vote or whatever, but like, do you really, is it worth basically saying, well, this is what I believe. And if you don't believe it, you're wrong. Is it worth saying that to diminish more than, to me, it's not just your market value, you're diminishing your brand and everything, what you stand for. And at the end of the day, what I've loved about bringing in Granny and bringing in Gate Bar, we hit a lot of different demographics. But the struggle I have with it all is like, in the long run, you're like, what are we really doing all this for too? If we're not really trying to bring values inner and market, like you were saying, intermingling together. And I think we actually do a really good job of it because we literally sell shirts that say our values, our inner values. And there is a market value for us. And what I appreciate about we're very niche in our who we are, and what we are is the agricultural industry, the heartland of America. That's basically who our stuff's made for. But yet Granny's followed by Snoop Dogg. It's like, that relatability of family dynamics and
Snoop Dogg isn't wholesome and middle America?
probably not. He's
kidding.
not viewed that way. But like our messaging of that somehow hit his team or his people to like, man, she's worth following.
Yeah, she's funny.
She's funny, an old lady, and then she's over here saying morals over hussies.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the show. I hope you benefited from this. Give the show a follow, share it, and comment what you'd like to hear more of so we can help more people perform in all aspects of their lives.